Ah, it's so cold. Ah! Ah!
Yeah, it goes. You see, we go deeper.
Oh my god.
We could try it.
It's scary.
You speak no English?
No?
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Like no.
Some encounters don't start with a monster. They start with a sound, a shadow, or someone who should not be there. A truck circles a campsite in the dark, and a little girl is found alone deep inside a cave. So when the trail goes quiet, how do you know what's waiting ahead? Hoodoo Outdoors is a YouTube channel run by a couple who love camping, hiking, hunting, fishing, and being outside. In January 2025, they decided to attempt something new, bushcraft camping. The plan was simple: create a shelter from scratch and stay overnight inside it, pushing their outdoor experience into unfamiliar territory. The day seemed pretty ordinary.
Build a bushcraft shelter and camp in it. Here's my wife, Soraya. Okay, so we got plenty of firewood. We're gonna spend the next while gathering as many trees as we possibly can.
Deep in the wilderness, they built the shelter, got everything ready for the night, and settled down as daylight started fading. As night moved closer, the mood slowly changed.
It was about this time that we heard the first yell. We heard two guys way off in the distance yelling, and it came from that direction. I walked over to my car, but no one was there. But I did see the lights of a truck off in the distance. I didn't film this part because I didn't think much of it, and it wasn't a very big deal. We have a guy right there that parked his truck. He keeps shining his bright side at us, and he has not left us alone ever since we got here. Now he's got his lights completely off.
Really close to it though.
Okay, he came like feet away from my car, like right here. And then I shone a light at him and he took off. So I was just following his tracks a little bit. He chucked this out the window.
He kept shouting like stuff at us too. I don't even know what. We couldn't really understand.
Around then, they heard the first yell. Two men were shouting somewhere far away in the distance. It seemed like it could have been near their car, which was just a few hundred yards away. The sound came from that direction. He went over to look, but nobody was there. What he did see, however, was a truck parked farther out with its cab lights glowing and the engine still running. He didn't record it because it didn't seem important at that moment and didn't feel like a serious issue.
So this guy's coming towards us now. So we're gonna get in the Jeep.
They're coming up around us, like on the other side.
So Soraya's hearing these guys sneaking up on us now with their lights off. Like, this is not normal. So we're just gonna be safe and get out of here. But then we heard them turn around and get back in their truck. I've spent hundreds of nights outside, and like, I'm totally fine camping next to people. Heck, when people act like that, it's best to just leave. It's just not worth it.
That way we can get out of here fast.
The truck stayed there in the darkness, and something about it felt off. There was movement near the campsite and the pressure started rising. The trip no longer felt the same. He had spent hundreds of nights outside and was comfortable being near other people. He had lived in a van, slept at campgrounds, and been around strangers many times. But this was different. When people behave that way, leaving is the smarter choice. It's simply not worth staying when you have no idea what they might be planning. Soon after the situation intensified.
I don't know if you can see, but they're driving right over to us again. And now they're watching us. They can tell us that we're here because our lights are on. Here's the Jeep. Oh, they're coming towards us, Brighton. What? They're coming towards us.
You guys need help or something?
No, we were just wondering what the light was.
We're just camping.
Oh, okay.
The vehicle began moving, driving around the campsite in a way that caused real concern. Nothing actually happened, but that didn't make it feel safer. they chose to pack up and leave. When someone keeps circling your camp without any clear reason, there's no way to know what they want, and that uncertainty by itself is enough to leave. Sometimes nothing truly happens, but the feeling stays with you, and that alone can mean a lot. So, what would you do in that situation? Valerie is an adventure traveler and a solo explorer, always looking for raw, authentic moments during her journeys alone. On her personal YouTube channel, she often shares peaceful experiences, the kindness of locals, and the untouched beauty of remote locations. This time, her destination is Lulu Hot Springs, a place formed by heat rising from deep beneath the earth. The video was uploaded on June 21st, 2023. At first, everything feels quieter than Valerie expected. She quickly finds the area and takes in its wild natural scenery.
I made it! No one's here. I have the whole place to myself. Oh, I'm so glad. Holy shit. Oh.
But that same beauty comes with hidden risks all around her. The ground temperature shifts without warning. Just a few steps can change from warmth to intense heat. Thick sulfur fills the air heavy and sharp enough to make you feel dizzy if you stay too long. The terrain is slick from condensed steam scattered with boiling pools that have no warning signs. Most importantly, there is no one else around. No phone signal, no passers-by, no chance of being found if something goes wrong.
Whoa! Bye! Few rocks were falling down right there where I was walking before, and they were quite big, so it's quite dangerous here. Thank you, Hot Spring! You gave me a lot.
I was really tempted to explore more and go deeper into the canyon, but the risk of getting hit by falling rocks was just too high.
My knees were shaking a bit when I passed this canyon a second time, because after seeing the big rock falling out, it could have ended very badly. So if you come here, please be aware, look up a lot, or bring a helmet.
The danger from falling rocks becomes too serious to ignore. Her legs begin to shake as she passes through the canyon again. After watching a large rock fall from the cliff, she realizes how easily things could have gone wrong. Leaving Lulu is the safer choice. Valerie has only one option: cross a deep, freezing river on her own, while her body is already drained by heat dehydration and exhaustion. Sometimes the danger is already there, even when everything looks calm at first. So, would you have stayed longer or turned back sooner? Anyone who understands the risk knows how deadly winter ice can be. But this man didn't appear concerned, or perhaps he simply never expected the situation to turn out this way. The video was uploaded on December 23, 2016. Michael is a skilled angler known for attempting extreme fishing trips in some of the toughest weather and terrain. But in the bitter cold of 11 degrees below 0 Celsius in New Jersey, this outing quickly went wrong, as ice spread across the lake, blocking all of his normal plans.
Come on. Guys, it's frozen. Gosh dang. Is it safe ice? Can I step on it? Okay, not safe ice. How thick it is. That's about an inch thick right there. Gosh dang it.
Instead of turning back, Michael walked directly onto the weakening ice. That one decision led to a frightening result, something he would never want to go through again.
So, since the ice won't break... Oh! 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 Ah, it's so cold! Ah! 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 Get your body completely out of the ice! Ah, it's so cold! Oh! Oh! Okay, that freaking hurt. I fell in the ice.
Okay?
Yeah, get out.
Luckily, Michael managed to drag himself back to shore. But the danger was not over yet. Falling into icy water is dangerous because the body loses heat extremely fast. When this happens, the brain begins to slow down, making it harder to think clearly or move properly. This is how hypothermia starts. Many people don't collapse immediately, but minutes later once their body becomes too cold. If they fail to warm up quickly, they can lose consciousness. In this case, with soaked clothes and freezing air, that could have easily happened. Sometimes, the real danger begins after you believe you're safe. So, would you have taken that step onto the ice? This clip comes from Cursed Urban, a solo investigator who spent an afternoon exploring a location locals call the Valley of Death, a small patch of woods surrounded by farmland, linked to several missing person cases before returning after nightfall to camp alone on a friend's property beside the Skinwalker Forest.
Looking to get out to for a while. This is very sinisterly named. Sorry, I'm so used to starting this out with the forest. The Valley of Death. Right here, all sorts of crazy haunted things that go on here. There's been missing persons cases tied to this forest and a whole lot more, which honestly...
The spirit talker reacted as soon as it was turned on. The first word it showed was Roberts, then dominant. Then a phrase about protection followed almost instantly by a direct answer to a question that had not even been asked yet.
Roberts. Can you tell me if that was a family that inhabited this place? Or maybe even still lives here? Roberts. That is pretty interesting. That as soon as I fired Spirit Talker up, usually it spits out nonsense for a little while before we get anything of value. So, who are the Roberts? This is a vibe with the snow, honestly. I hate snow and I hate the cold. But dominant. Who's dominant? I usually hate the snow and cold, but today it's like perfect for being out here. It's not too cold, comfortable in a hoodie. Yeah, it's really nice. I'll take it. And the snow is just like, it's cool. Is there something dominant that lives in this forest? There's creatures that aren't human that live here. Is that true? We are very close to the Skinwalker Forest that I was at before. Tragedy. A tragedy happened here? Did it involve the Roberts? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's still cold out here. But it's not abhorrently bad. We can knock. Can you give me a knock? Maybe out in this forest somewhere? Or maybe move something around a little? You wander these grounds. Are you part of the Roberts? Not hearing any knocking, unfortunately. I was hoping we'd get a knock out there. It doesn't seem so. It doesn't seem like we're going to score a knock. Explore. Can you tell me who you are? Talk about wandering these grounds. Are you someone that used to live here? Or did you explore this place, not come back from it? Did that happen to you? Because I heard there's people that went missing out here. You are protected. Who am I protected by, or what am I protected by? More importantly...
Then a scream exploded from the tree line. Loud and close, unlike anything he had experienced before. Right after that, something shifted behind a dead tree, straight ahead, a dark figure with its head and shoulders visible, then suddenly gone. Not walking off. Gone as though it had moved directly into the trunk.
I don't know what that was.
We are watching you.
We are watching you. Who's watching me? I saw something disappear behind that tree. Right after I heard that noise. I know for a fact I did. Yeah, I'm getting out of here. I got a bad feeling about this. Real bad feeling.
There's two of us.
There's two of us. Did somebody make that noise? Was that somebody else?
He packed up and left.
That was that same exact scream, howl, whatever it was that we heard earlier today at the other forest. I'm about 20 minutes from that place. We heard it there, and I just heard it again. That was loud.
20 minutes later, he was settled at the second location on private land bordering the Skinwalker Forest. The same scream ripped through the darkness. Same pitch, same distance. A different forest, the same sound.
Right through the trees. A very soft, faint whisper coming through the trees. And that's when the dog started barking. Right after I heard that.
Soon after, something else came next, a faint whisper floating out from the trees. Then a dog started barking from a direction where no houses were anywhere nearby.
Okay, the first one we got was content creator. Who you are, who I'm speaking to. I've never gotten that before. That was very, very direct. Who am I speaking with? Am I speaking with anybody? Could you give me a sign that you're still here with me? I just heard like a knock on wood or something in the distance. I mean, that was kind of loud. Thank you for that sign. I appreciate that. I'm you and not something else. So I appreciate that.
The device then produced 3 phrases in order connected directly to his presence there, including wording that suggested he should leave them alone. Then the word blackmail appeared, the same word recorded at this location during an earlier visit.
Leave us alone. See, here's the, okay, content creator, leave us alone. They probably remember me from last time, which I want to say they said blackmail the last time we were out here. I'm not sure, but I feel like we did. In the day. There's something special that happens in the day? Or do you like daytime better than nighttime?
Whatever was there knew he had come back. It remembered him, and it seemed finished with him. 2 locations visited during the same afternoon produced the exact same inhuman sound, something that does not fit any known animal call in the area. The devices kept producing words tied to a single name across several sessions, and the responses seemed to anticipate questions before they were spoken. That is either a pattern or a coincidence becoming harder to explain. What do you think is making that sound? And if something out there truly recognizes returning visitors, what does that change about how we understand these places? Inside the abandoned Sway Hall in the UK, a paranormal investigator from the channel, exploring with Kevlar, entered through the damaged doorway with a backpack filled with ghost hunting equipment, while his camera was already recording. The video was uploaded on January 20th, 2025.
So, we'll be there in about 5 minutes, just that round corner. So yeah, hopefully it goes well.
He set devices around the old building, including EMF meters, REM pods, and glowing cat balls, hoping something within the crumbling old hall would respond to them. At first, nothing happened except silence and the sound of wind outside. Then one of the EMF meters suddenly surged. A red light flashed, followed by another device near the doorway lighting up.
Anybody else here with me tonight? Mean no harm, I come in peace.
Arthur.
Arthur. Thanks, Arthur. Hope you're well. Could you go near any of my devices for me?
Moments later, a cat ball rolled over the floor and lit up. Soon after, his phone's spirit app showed a name.
I am Dexter.
Hiya, Dexter. Nice to meet you. My name is Cav. Thanks for getting back to me, mate. I don't mean any harm, Dexter. Could you touch any of my devices? I've got in. Mean no harm, I come in peace.
Arthur.
Arthur. Thanks, Arthur. Hope you're well. Could you go near any of my devices for me?
As he kept investigating, something unusual began happening. His camera battery, which had been at 70%, suddenly fell to 0.
It's drained my battery in my camera. It's drained. Camera battery's totally drained. About 70% when I came out. That. Thanks for the lights, guys. Keep tapping that screen.
Then, one of the devices shifted by itself. Kevlar stared into the surrounding darkness.
So much. I'm absolutely buzzing. Thank you again. Thank you. Can I come back? Can I come back and visit you guys again?
Using my voice.
Thank you very much.
A device near the doorway lit up again.
For me, please. That device in the doorway, you can go near it again if you want. Do you want me to leave?
As though something inside the hall had just responded to him, or maybe it was something else entirely. So, what do you think was really there? Meet Josh, a bold young creator behind the YouTube channel, Exploring with Josh. Known mostly for entering abandoned buildings and supposedly haunted locations, his goal has always been straightforward: find hidden places and record the unknown. But on August 7th, 2016, Josh and 3 friends, John, Stephen, and Cody, entered a site different from the ruined structures they usually explored, a lava tube called Ape Cave in Washington State. What began as a casual summer outing would soon turn into something far more unsettling.
Oh, today we're going to Mount St. Helens. We're going to Ape Cave.
Oh god, this looks like some from a horror movie.
Yeah, this is
and it's really dark.
movie too.
Lucky we got some lanterns. Well, they do. Oh god.
So dark.
Yo,
Alright.
it is darker than I thought, everyone.
Jeez. I really feel like I'm gonna
Let the guys go first with the light.
Yo, I got the lantern. Okay, hold on.
They move into the cave with lanterns, eager to look around. But the farther they crawl, the more the mood starts to shift. The passage narrows until 2 of the friends decide they cannot go any farther. Josh and Steve continue ahead, crawling on their knees through the icy darkness.
Claustrophobic.
Dude, it goes so low. It goes like round, like kneeling.
I too.
I don't even know if this leads out anywhere. I think it's just the end. We can be crawling all day.
Let's find out.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
Yeah, man. I don't.
Dude, actually, I think we can go deeper.
Yeah, it goes. You think we can go deeper?
Oh my god.
We could try it.
That's scary. That's so scary. Like, I'm just picturing in my head what if like the cave collapses and
I know.
no way back.
We're not
I
gonna
really
think.
doubt it.
I'm not gonna think about that. I'm crawling, man.
Oh, me too. I'm crawling.
It gets even smaller.
I'm getting my clothes. I don't even know. Dude.
As they push deeper into the cramped tunnel, the passage eventually opens into a wider chamber. Relieved, but still uneasy, they start making their way back, only to discover something completely unexpected. A young girl. alone, silent, trembling. She could not speak English and only looked at them with frightened eyes.
You speak English? No English. No? Oh, okay. Okay, come with us.
Hey, Josh. Do you see those, the couple that was back there?
You wanna come with us?
Tell them their daughter's up here and she's scared.
They don't speak. She doesn't speak English. She doesn't speak
They don't
English.
speak English.
It's okay. It's all right. This is the way back.
The group quickly lowers the camera and leads her back toward the cave entrance. Once outside, they find her parents desperately searching and calling for her in another language. She is safely reunited with them, though she still appears deeply shaken.
What an experience. As we were about to leave, this little girl comes up out of nowhere, scares us, and at first we're like, wait. Then she just sits there in the back, so I started talking to her, but she wouldn't answer me. It turns out she really didn't speak English at all. She's by herself, curled the whole way in there, by herself, no light. Eventually, I guess her parents were yelling her name in their language, and yeah, she went back, but she started crying and stuff. It was kind of a crazy situation.
How the girl managed to crawl that far into the cave without a flashlight or any direction remains hard to understand. Josh later explained that she had gotten separated from her parents and unknowingly continued moving deeper into the cave system. Even then, several questions were left unanswered. Why had she not cried for help? Why had no one heard her earlier? And if Josh and Steve had turned around when the tunnel first became narrow, would the girl have ever been found? Some viewers became convinced there was something unusual about Ape Cave itself. A hidden force, an eerie presence, or maybe something pulling people farther into the darkness. What started as another exploration unexpectedly became a rescue mission, one that could easily have ended much worse. Josh's choice to keep going deeper may have saved someone's life. But the silence inside the cave, along with the mystery of how far the girl traveled alone, stayed with him years later. So, if you ever choose to explore the unknown, ask yourself this: who could already be waiting somewhere in the dark, hoping someone goes just a little farther? Joseph is a TikTok creator who rarely posts, and most of his videos are simple, wholesome clips with his son, just everyday moments. But among those uploads, there is one that feels completely different. While building a fence around his yard, a fence he said he felt he needed to put up, he ended up capturing the exact reason why. And after you see it, the situation begins to make more sense.
Look, dude, she couldn't find her way over there, so now she's over here. Do you see her? Look at that face. It's right there staring at me. Oh my god, dude. What the fuck? She's crawling through all this shit, bro.
Honestly, this is one of those clips that stays with you. Not because it is overly dramatic, but because it feels realistic. What makes the footage more disturbing is the fact that Joseph has a young son. And seeing that woman crawling through the bushes just to stare into their yard completely changes the context. At first, it is hard to understand what is happening, but once the image is zoomed in, it becomes much easier to see. The face, along with how she stays low and concealed, is difficult to dismiss. Joseph also captured a still image from another moment, which can be seen here, and without exaggerating the scene, it truly gives off the feeling of old witch folklore, like something taken from a story people might share around a fire. Small details, like posture movement and timing, can turn an ordinary moment into something deeply unsettling, especially in situations that feel like a camping encounter where awareness becomes extremely important. When someone moves that way while attempting to stay hidden, it completely changes how the situation feels. If you were in his position, would you ignore it, or take steps to protect your space? The next unsettling clip comes from Burbeck's Beijing Urban Exploration, a channel that visits abandoned and isolated places around the world while using calm observational narration with very little dramatization. On July 9, 2017, the explorer moves through Japan's Aokigahara forest, following a narrow trail deeper into the woods. The ground soon becomes more difficult, with slippery soil-exposed roots and hidden gaps beneath the moss-covered surface. To help stop hikers from getting lost, biodegradable lifeline strings are tied along parts of the trail, guiding visitors back toward the main path. However, some of the older strings already look broken and unreliable.
I don't know what the sign says, but it seems to lead off onto a bigger trail which goes this way. So I've had the feeling for a little while that...
Without warning, a loud rustling noise suddenly comes from nearby brush. He instantly stops and carefully checks the surrounding area. For a brief moment, he considers the chance that another person could be close by, but nothing appears. The movement was most likely caused by wildlife, yet the sudden disturbance sharply increases the tension inside the otherwise silent forest.
Something in here with me. Something over there, big, just rustled. I thought it was a person, but up there at the end of the path I thought I saw somebody wearing a blue anorak. As I moved towards it, it just seemed to disappear.
In a place this quiet, the imagination can quickly start filling the uncertainty with something unsettling. Nothing physical happens during the encounter. Instead, the experience becomes psychological. The isolation, silence, and atmosphere of Aokigahara create an intense feeling of vulnerability, where even small sounds or distant movement begin to feel important. The moment becomes a reminder that in places this remote and silent, sometimes the mind itself becomes the most disturbing presence in the forest. What the imagination begins creating can feel more frightening than whatever is actually there. So, what do you think he really saw moving out there in the woods? The next clip comes from Zero Subs, a YouTube channel centered on ghost hunting, nighttime exploring, and paranormal investigations. It is February 16th, 2026, somewhere in the United States.
I had a really bad feeling.
The subject walks through a wooded area, pushing through thick trees and heavy undergrowth. The forest remains mostly quiet, except for cracking twigs and distant rustling deeper inside the woods. He stops several times to listen carefully. The poor visibility and shifting shadows between the branches create a tense atmosphere, making him fully aware of how isolated the place feels. The sounds gradually seem to move closer.
Like, there's no cricket. No.
Clear footsteps can be heard somewhere nearby, heavier and more intentional than the movement of a normal small animal. The subject pauses again, trying to work out where the noises are coming from. Each time he stops, another twig cracks nearby, creating the sense that something may be moving beside him at the same pace. Shadows briefly move between the trees just beyond the reach of the camera light. He keeps scanning the forest, and his growing tension becomes more obvious as the feeling of being watched intensifies. Then suddenly several twigs snap extremely close by sounding like footsteps moving through the brush. Instead of pushing farther into the woods, the subject immediately decides to turn back. As he slowly retreats, the encounter builds almost entirely through sound, while the source of the movement remains unseen. Choosing caution instead of curiosity, he leaves the area rather than following the noises deeper into the forest. Although nothing is clearly captured on camera, the combination of footsteps, snapping twigs, and shifting shadows creates a moment that feels far more intense than the short clip suggests. The footage ends without offering any clear explanation, leaving viewers to decide whether the disturbance was wildlife moving through the woods or something else quietly following from the darkness. Sometimes not seeing anything can feel worse than knowing. So, what do you think was really out there? The next disturbing clip comes from Apis, an outdoor exploration channel that records real-time trips through thick forests, especially in severe winter conditions. It is January 12th, 2026 in a wooded region in Europe.
Oh.
The explorer moves farther into a snow-covered forest, following tracks left in the snow while watching the trees around them. The setting feels quiet but uncertain, with deep snow swallowing sound and making each movement slower and more difficult. Several small disturbances in the woods make the explorer react carefully, stopping again and again to listen and study the area closely. Every sound, whether snapping branches or distant motion, raises the possibility that large wildlife may be nearby. They stay aware of two main dangers: unexpectedly coming across animals and becoming disoriented inside the dense winter landscape.
That looks like a place where a bear would sleep in winter. I'm not checking that out. Let's get out of here. With Leah, Dad. Let's go. Get in trouble. Do you see the hole? A bear may be sleeping in here. Oh no. Let's not go deeper. This is definitely a den. Let's get out of here.
During the hike, the explorer spots what looks like a possible hibernation den in the forest floor. Judging by the size and shape of the entrance, they suspect a bear could be resting inside. Knowing the risk of disturbing a hibernating animal, they immediately choose not to move any closer. Instead, they briefly film the location from a safe distance before stepping back.
If these footprints are mine, because the forest can really play with your mind. Are these footprints mine? Please, pretty please let me know. I don't want to get lost. But they are not mine. You know why? 2 nails right here. Like, I don't know, a hoof or something. Maybe a boar. But we need a video. Gosh darn it. We need it. I'm deep in the forest. Pretty fresh, I don't like that. Look at this. It's probably a boar. It is a boar. It is a boar.
With several dens and fresh tracks visible throughout the area, the explorer decides to start retreating. Moving through the deep snow demands slow and controlled steps. They repeatedly emphasize the importance of staying calm, avoiding sudden movement, and following familiar routes to avoid getting lost in the forest. The thick trees and uneven ground continue raising the tension as they carefully make their way back through the woodland.
In somebody's den, with fresh footprints or with very large size, like a bear that was seen in summer last time over here. A brown bear that nobody can hunt because they're freaking protected. We can hunt. I'm not a hunter, but if I would, that would be my mindset. Forest needs to be a place that people can go to without being killed. We're almost out of here. Let's continue.
Before leaving the area, the explorer notices that several of the dens appear unusually large. They remember reports that brown bears had been seen in the region during the previous year. This further supports the possibility that large predators may still be present within the forest. At that point, quietly leaving the area becomes the obvious priority. The video ends with a reminder that winter forests may seem silent, but beneath the snow, many animals remain active, and respecting their space matters for both safety and responsible wildlife observation. Sometimes the danger is already there, even when everything feels completely still. So, what do you think was really nearby in that forest? That's it for tonight. Which moment creep? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story, share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.